Hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to this episode of the World Through Electrospecs podcast. If you hear something that you think you would like to see from this particular episode, please feel free to check out the video version of the podcast or check out the show notes, all of which can be found at TWTEpodcast.com. Enjoy the show.
Of angel hair and ice cream castles in the air and feathered canyons everywhere. I've looked at clouds that way, but now they only block the sun. They rain and snow on everyone. So many things I would have done, but clouds got in my way.
Somebody get him before he pokes an eye out.
Greetings, cowboys, cowgirls, space rangers, and dinosaurs, T-Rexes.
Yeah. And
thanks for tuning in to and what?
And the big bank.
And the piggy bank. Yeah.
I don't know where else that.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the World Through Electrospecs podcast. I'm Caleb.
And I'm Pete, bringing things to a crashing halt right off the start. Kind of like the trailer.
Ooh, yeah. Ooh. Yeah. Tied that in. Didn't even try.
Yeah. It's exactly what I meant to do.
I mean, tied that in. Great forethought.
Yeah. That's all pre-planned here at the World Through Electrospecs.
Is it?
No.
I mean, we have been taking more notes before the show, or at least I have.
A little bit. I didn't do as much as last time.
That's fine. That's fine.
I did. Yeah.
So this episode we are covering kind of both, but mainly the first teaser trailer that was released earlier this year. Looks like it was at least on the Disney Pixar YouTube channel. It was published on November 12th of 2018, or early last or later last year, depending on when you're listening to this.
Oh, sure, right.
But we're covering this. It doesn't seem like there's much to talk about at first glance. There's not much going on. It's mainly just looking like a fun character introduction. No huge elements of storyline involved. I just had a quick panic moment thinking we weren't recording, but we're recording. But I do think that there's a lot to pull from this trailer beneath the surface, and I have some interesting ideas here. Aside from just talking about cast and crew, we were talking about this a little bit in the blue room, in the green room, before we were recording. Whatever, is it the blue room or the green room?
Yeah. The room.
The room. The blue and green room. It's the
exactly
podcast colors. But I think there's a decent amount of stuff to pull from this. So let's just jump. I said I didn't want to use that phrase.
Oh.
Yeah. Let's just get on with it. So initial thoughts. I'll let you go first this time.
Yeah, this is a little bit odd. The introduction of Forky. Which is it? Forky? Yeah, mm-hmm. Yeah. So that in itself is just kind of it's just odd, right? It just does not fit the traditional Toy Story storyline. Even in Toy Story 1, even though they had the kind of morphed, weird kind of put together toys from other toys, where in the world does this fork come from, right? So I think that's the biggest oddity of it. My other initial thought is this little kind of merry-go-round celebration of everyone holding hands and spinning in a circle is wonderful. But did you pick up on that is in Andy's room?
It's got that. So the background seems to be the clouds from
right,
Andy's wallpaper. Yeah.
And did you know
which is weird.
Well, did you know that wallpaper is also in Monsters Inc.?
Oh, that I did not know.
Yeah. It's in. I believe it's in the little girl's room when that little chameleon style guy who turns into the backgrounds. And he was sneaking through there, yeah.
Turns into the backgrounds. That's the weirdest way I've heard somebody describe camouflage.
Right. You blend it. So they're spinning around circles there in Andy's room, and Forky kind of is at the end of the line.
Do you think it's Andy's room, or do you think they're just kind of because that blue sky with the clouds that is Andy's wallpaper? It's a very classic and iconic look for the Toy Story franchise. Do you think they're just kind of sticking with branding and what people are familiar with by doing that, or do you think it is a reference to Andy's room somehow?
I'm kind of going with both. I'm kind of hoping somehow there's, Andy's. Whoa, okay, wait a minute now, because Andy's grown up.
Right. The end of Toy Story 3, which, I mean, it's...
So it's not Andy's room.
Kind of an older movie, so, I mean, I guess we don't need to worry too much about spoilers with Toy Story 3, especially if you're listening to the podcast on Toy Story 4. But,
right.
The end of Toy Story 3, Andy grew up, I think he went to college, I believe, and he donated all of his toys to a little girl, like a new owner for the toys. So even if we were to revisit Andy for some reason in the storyline, I don't see why it would be in the same bedroom setting as the other movies. Yeah, right.
Right. Yeah. What's funny too is we should have had a guest on the show today as having my wife join us. She's adding some commentary from the other room. She's definitely disappointed in my memory of Toy Story.
Is she? Well, she's just in the other room. She can come in and join for a few minutes if she wants to.
Today's her birthday. Big shout out.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday to...
Belated birthday when you guys watch, but...
Yeah. Pete's wife. How does she... I mean, I was going to say her name, but does she want her name?
Right. All over the internet.
Right. To our 3 listeners.
Who knows? But yeah, you you make a good point though with my lack of remembering the storyline for the last 3. So where could this be taking place? We do have a little teaser that I'm sure if anyone has dived in and kind of did some research, we'll talk about that in a little bit. But
right, there was a second. So the poster materials that have been released for this movie show lights inside the letters for the Toy Story 4 logo, kind of like a channel letter or box letter that you would see at a carnival. And then there was a second teaser trailer that was released that was kind of a weird mesh between in-universe but also self-aware of the movie's existence, kind of promotional of the movie. Yeah. Of two new characters that are being added to the movie that are voiced by Key and Peele, classic comedy duo, and they're talking about Toy Story as a movie within the universe, and they're definitely at a carnival of some sort.
Yes.
And if you look up the quick little excerpt on IMDb of kind of a description of the movie, it reads, "When a new toy called Forky joins Woody and the gang, a road trip alongside old and new friends reveals how big the world can be for a toy." So there's no mention there about a carnival, but given the context, it seems like they're going on a road trip of some sort and end up running into either a carnival or they end up being donated or accidentally packed up with a traveling carnival of some sort, and that's the road trip they're on. So
right.
I don't know which one of those it is, but... Sorry?
Right. And I said how they get there is we just can't seem to dig deep enough, and they're keeping it really under wraps with that too. And I think it's just, Pixar is really well known for their Easter eggs in all of their films and everything. So I'm really kind of like trying to find something. So
That's why I'm feeling like digging really, really, although there doesn't seem like much content within this initial teaser trailer, digging deep and trying to find meaning in things that seem normal or that seem like they're just don't have any meaning, I think will actually give us more of an insight on what's going on with this movie. At the very least, make things a little bit more interesting with, like, give it more context.
right,
Because it totally seems like it's within the realm of Disney and Pixar to do release a trailer like this that doesn't seem, it's very inconspicuous, and then when you dig deeper you realize there's some meaning in what they're doing.
right. And I think if you kind of scour a little bit on the internet, you'll see some quick interviews with Alan and Hanks, and both of them have said that the ending, they had a hard time holding it together when they actually sat and watched it.
They both have said that, and also, and something we'll get into a little bit here in a second, some of the stuff, if you do kind of dig deeper and try to find some meaning where there seems like there isn't within this teaser trailer, it gets pretty dark.
Yeah, there's that one moment where it looks like they're in some kind of potato chip oven or something like that.
What are you talking about? Potato chip?
You haven't seen that yet.
Potato chip
There's
oven.
a few little cut scenes during some of those interviews.
I think they're, if the interviews you were talking about, if they were showing clips, they were probably showing clips from Toy Story 3 when all the toys were seemingly about to die when they were going into the furnace.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. Potato chip
losing
oven.
my mind. Potato chip oven. Good Lord. All right, I guess I'm out. Good luck on the rest of this episode. Oh, my goodness. All right.
So another quick initial thought that I had, that's kind of a fun fact that I'm sure you're already aware of, in relation to the other three.
Potato chip oven. Honestly.
I don't know what you were thinking. Okay. That might be the title of the episode, honestly.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the first Toy Story movie was released in 1995.
Okay.
95. That was so if this movie is released in 2019, that was the first Toy Story movie was released 24 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
Look at the look on your face.
Oh my god.
Your eyes were like darting back and forth like you were just, your life was just flashing before your eyes.
Kind of was.
To date, sorry.
That's the same year that my daughter was born.
Yeah. Nuh-uh. No, Christina and I were the same.
She was born in 94.
Yeah.
So 95. Yeah.
Ooh.
Math.
I might want to cut that. Forget when your daughter was born. I'm going to cut that.
No, let it roll. I'm already embarrassing myself. I might as well just keep on going.
Okay.
94. Well, I did 24. She's 24 years old, and you know what happened.
Yeah. But we're the same age. So that's what I was going to say. To date myself, I was 1 year old when the first movie came out.
When did you first see it? Not to go down a rabbit hole.
Oh,
Who knows,
man. I think just because it was popular and it was kids, it was like a kids movie and it was around and it came out just shortly after I was born. I think it was just integrated into my upbringing in a way that I can't remember the first time I watched it, to be totally honest with you. I just remember it being around for forever, which is why, unlike a good portion, I mean, we talked a lot about the Transformers trailers, but they were just kind of like, oh, cool, new Transformers stuff. This is the first movie that is a direct connection to something that I grew up with, and this is the first time I'm actually really getting emotionally invested in the nostalgia of getting involved in this franchise again and being excited for a new movie to come out. Yeah, seeing these characters on screen again. There's
so many one-liners that I've used for 24 years, you know.
Yeah.
With my kids, and I don't know, they're just part of who I am now. So
I'm Mrs. Nesbit.
There's a snake in my boot.
You are not a toy. Okay, this is the rest of the episode is just going to be.
Yeah.
Oh no, wait, you are a toy.
You are not a toy. Yeah. Which is great too, because that's kind of how we're going to leave everyone with today, is a little bit of pranking on Woody and Buzz, so that'll be great.
Right. So speaking on that, the second teaser trailer, although there seems to be a lot to pull from this one, the first one, the second one, I tried to see what I could find there, but it looked like mostly generic stuff. They were just focusing on the new characters, so there's not a whole lot to talk about, it seems, with that one. So I think we're just going to save that trailer and audio for the end of the episode as kind of an outro, a nice bookend. So we'll get to that later.
Right. Yeah. So cast, the biggest news. Keanu?
Oh, you think that's the biggest news?
Oh, well,
that is
been a big shift. But there's been a big shift because Bo Peep was supposed to be the main focus of the movie.
Well, yeah, initially that was the idea, was that the storyline of this movie was supposed to be some sort of romantic comedy between Woody and Bo Peep, which sounds super weird, to be honest with you.
Right? Creepy.
But that was back when it was directed by... So initially this movie was going to be... And this is the shift you keep mentioning. Yeah. Originally this movie was meant to be directed by John Lasseter, and then co-directed by Josh Cooley, and it was written by Will McCormick and Rashida Jones, which the main name that pops out to me there, just because of the realm of things that I'm familiar with, is Rashida Jones. I was not aware of the fact that she did any writing. But you may immediately, or at least I immediately recognized her from being one of the main characters in both The Office and Parks and Rec. But as far as her writing credits are concerned, she doesn't have many of them. She actually, the thing that stands out to me the most, two things that stand out to me the most as far as what she wrote, was Nosedive, which an episode of Black Mirror, and Hot Girls Wanted, Turned On, which I don't know if you're familiar with Hot Girls Wanted, but that was a documentary on Netflix, I believe, that was about women who work in the porn industry and how they got into it, and kind of painting them in the light of we are in control of our bodies kind of thing. So that being said, having her jump onto Toy Story after really only having a few writing credits was interesting. Yeah,
very much so. That might understand some of the complications, as she put it in one of her quote, in one of her interviews.
Right. And that's what I was getting to next, was that there's been a huge shift. John Lasseter is actually, for those who don't know, John Lasseter actually directed, he produced the other Toy Story movies. He has a very, very long list of Disney movies that he's been producing for years. He's still credited as the executive producer for Toy Story 4, but he's no longer... he kind of started the original story. He wrote the original story just because he was involved in the writing to begin with. So he's got a long history and has experience with not only this franchise, but its surrounding franchises within Pixar. But he's actually stepped down or left he's not related to this for some reason. And his co-director, Josh Cooley, is now taking over as being the primary director, who apparently he doesn't have very many credits as a director either. He has directed Toy Story. He's directing Toy Story 4. He directed two other movies that were just shorts. He wrote a couple small things. He's mainly known for his work in Inside Out, Up, and Ratatouille, which are other Disney Pixar movies. But that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all he's got going for him.
Well, Ratatouille was really successful. So
it was. Yeah. But since then, also, Will McCormick and Rashida Jones have stepped down as well. They said they were running into complications, whatever those were. And now the team of writers that are involved here, it's a weird mishmash between the original story by John Lasseter, and now we also have Andrew Stanton, Pete Docter, Lee Unkrich, and then we still have Will McCormick listed as a writer just because of his work. Strangely enough, Rashida Jones has been removed. Screenplay by Stephanie Folsom and So it's like a weird combination, a weird mishmash of people who started working on it and then left and then gave the reins to somebody else, and then those people left, and now there's new people involved. And
Interesting. Yeah.
I have no doubts whatsoever that it's going to be an awesome movie, and it's going to be well written, and it's going to be heart wrenching, like Tom Cruise and Tom Cruise, Tim Allen and
Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks have said. But it's definitely coming from a very strange shuffling of cards.
Yes. Yeah. But I don't think Pixar would have anything less. It's just kind of.
That seems to be Disney's thing too, because I happen to. I'm basing that statement entirely off of, again, Star Wars movies. If we go a single episode without mentioning Star Wars, it's going to be a miracle.
Right.
But everybody who's worked on the Star Wars movies, it seems like the directors or writers have been shifted around since in the Star Wars movies since Disney has taken over as well, due to creative differences or this, that, or the other. So,
yeah. Well, let's. Should we dive into cast then?
Yeah, we can dive into cast very quickly because there isn't a whole lot to report on. It's all expected.
They've kept their regular cast. What's
Tom
fantastic?
Hanks is reprising his role as Woody. Tim Allen is reprising his role as Buzz Lightyear, which is awesome. Strangely enough, Michael Keaton is joining the cast.
Ooh, did they say who he's?
A character named Ken. So I don't know if that's a toy. Oh wait, Ken. Is that the Ken doll? Yeah,
Ken doll, yeah.
Possibly. Was he Ken in Toy Story 2 or 3 or whatever? Because Ken and Barbie made an appearance in
Toy Story 2?
Toy Story 2, I believe, yeah. That was the one with Al's Toy Barn. Keanu Reeves, as you said, has jumped on.
And they're not telling us.
They're not telling us who he is yet. I love Keanu Reeves, so.
You know what though? I heard in one of the articles I read in reading one of the articles.
Hey, listen. You smell that? to quote Ghostbusters.
Oh,
sorry.
goodness.
Continue.
This will be fun. But anyhow, there was something mentioned how Keanu Reeves' character did sound a lot like Buzz Lightyear, and they were kind of wondering about that. So I'm like, wait, is there a? Because if you look behind me in the screensaver, Zurg is in that.
I don't remember who Zurg was voiced by.
He's from Toy Story 2 as well.
He showed up in Toy Story
2 from Al's Toy Barn.
Let me look that up as you're talking here.
Yeah. So Emperor Zurg is back, and who knows if he's teaming up, because at the end they had a whole
Lord, that was 1999.
That whole parody though with Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker and Zurg and Buzz, so that was kind of fun. So maybe Zurg's coming back to join the Force, join the gang, join the Toy Story gang.
Well, I also don't know that screenshot that you have back there. I don't know what that's from. I don't know if that's official material or not. It could just, if you got that from Google Images, you could have just grabbed that. That could be somebody just slapping the logo on the character shot,
Mm-hmm.
Andrew Stanton was the voice of Zurg in Toy Story 2. Oh, also, Wheezy the Penguin.
Oh yeah, Wheezy's in that screenshot too.
Right, and he was in Toy Story 2 as well. So Zurg and Wheezy were in Toy Story 2. Neither of them we know whether or not they're going to be in this Toy Story 4, but they're both in that image on your screen, so that could very well just be somebody photoshopping the logo on top of a character.
Could be, or it could be a very old one from 2014. 2014 was when they announced Toy Story 4 originally.
Oh man, I can't remember. It's been so long.
I think it was 2014 was the original announcement.
Maybe it was 2015. Or maybe I think I'm getting that. Okay, never mind. I'm thinking 2015, but I'm getting that mixed up with another movie that we're going to be another trailer that we're going to be covering soon.
So who knows how much imagery has been already kind of released or leaked out with the original storyline, and then the change in this story and what have you.
That being said, this movie is set to release in June of 2019. So there's no actual date, or maybe there is. There's a little advertisement on the side of the screen here that says June 21st. So June 21st, I guess.
Okay.
So that's about it as far as cast and crew are concerned. You want to jump into actually analyzing the trailer then?
Yeah. Let's take a look.
All right. So starting right off the bat, obviously we have the Disney and Pixar logos because they're both involved. We get a very bright, sunny shot leading directly into the characters, all kind of in slow motion. They're all happy. They're all holding hands, going in circles around the camera, seeming to be in the center of the circle. What's the first thing you think of when you see this shot?
I don't have any idea. It's kind of dance. They're just kind of spinning around in a circle. I don't know. What are you alluding to there?
And this is where I was talking earlier, where if you dig or try to find extra meaning into this stuff, it gets kind of dark. To me, it looks like they're playing Ring Around the Rosie.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what I would say that I was kind of feeling too.
Which I don't know if you know kind of the meaning behind Ring Around the Rosie.
Yeah, that's right.
Ring Around the Rosie was actually a song and dance that initially was supposed to represent the Great Plague in Britain.
Right,
where,
because the ring was the first indicator that you
Ring Around the Rosie being like the spots that would show up on your skin when you got the disease. It would be a dark spot with like a red ring around it. Pocket full of posies being this was back before the days of deodorant and perfume. Maybe I don't know if it was before the days of deodorant, but basically where you would carry a bunch of flowers around in your pocket to kind of counteract the smell of the disease eating your body away. And then ashes to ashes, we all fall down. Obviously, that's people dying. So the idea of the characters doing this dance in this trailer, if you want to read it that way, is actually kind of morbid.
Yeah.
It could be representing something we don't necessarily want to see. Something they almost did at the end of Toy Story 3, but ended up not. So.
Yes.
So, also, before we even see that, we hear a song that is playing throughout the trailer.
Well, I'm just going to say, to add to that whole Ring Around the Rosie kind of idea, there is this whole kind of foggy, mystic kind of like, you know, if someone's passing and they see the light, you know.
Ooh, and also Andy's room. So if we want to dig deeper into that, we were talking earlier about Andy's room and his wallpaper and being the clouds. And if the toys have been donated to the new girl, we wouldn't be in this setting unless maybe that's their idea of the perfect heaven. If the toys, if when they die, you know, if we're taking a religious stance on this, and the toys end up going to heaven, maybe their idea of a perfect afterlife is being back in Andy's room.
Yeah. Or maybe Andy is an elderly man or something.
Oh,
wow.
Oh, you think this is Andy's heaven?
Yeah, this could be Andy's heaven.
Maybe Andy dies.
Maybe he doesn't die, but maybe he has a near-death experience.
He's doing too many drugs in college.
Wow, this is supposed to be a happy film. What have we done?
I know. Well, they really set the tone at the with how they handled Toy Story 3, making it seem like all the toys were dying, and they ended on a happy note, but it's still kind of bittersweet. And they say that the end of this is going to be really heart-wrenching. We can only, we can only take this stuff and try to translate it into the most real and kind of dirty, raw translation we can give it.
Well, maybe with the way Hanks and Alan are talking about the, you know, keeping it together at the ending, who knows? We might be kind of breaking through something here. I don't know.
Oh, man. I just suddenly got so sad.
But they will keep it lighthearted. I know they will. They won't crush every child's dream.
So digging a little bit further into not just what we're seeing, but what we're hearing, the song that's playing over the trailer is a song titled "Both Sides Now" by an artist named Judy Collins. It was a song from the 60s. It was released in the 60s from her album Wildflowers. And this also has an interesting take on these theories and speculation that we're throwing out here based on this trailer. If you can hear the lyrics clearly in the trailer, but I will go ahead and read some of these lyrics out loud, so maybe when they're read, they have a little bit more of an impact, or you understand them a little bit more. So the lyrics of the song, as heard in the trailers, go as follows. Bows and flows of angel hair and ice cream castles in the air and feathers and feathered canyons everywhere. I've looked at clouds that way, but now they only block the sun. They rain and they snow on everyone. So many things I would have done, but clouds got in my way. And the whole theme of this song, all the lyrics that are in this song have to do with how everything looks awesome. And she sees everything in a positive light, but then suddenly she sees it in a negative light. There's two sides to everything. There's the idea of clouds being ice cream castles in the air, but there's also the idea of clouds just cover up the sun and they rain and snow on everyone.
Wow.
Which also kind of, at the time when the main verse of the song is over in the trailer and it goes to what would be the next verse of the song, it kills this happy vibe of the characters going around in a circle. It says next summer, and then suddenly this new character shows up and says something that he seems to be having some sort of like freak out, thinking he's not a toy, and then all the characters are falling. If you notice that bright, exciting sun spot you were talking about that makes it feel heavenly, or light at the end of the tunnel, and that haze is gone and everything is back to its normal color scheme and everybody's falling. And in some cases, in the case of Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head, literally falling apart.
Yeah.
Rex is his name, right? The dinosaur. At one point he says the panic is attacking me.
Oh.
Yeah, and which is a weird way to say you're having a panic attack, for the record. That's everything just kind of goes to chaos. And if you notice also, the beginning of the trailer, everybody's happy, everybody's fine, and then next summer is the phrase that ends up next summer, and the lyrics to the song is the phrase that ends up dividing the happy, exciting thing and everybody falling apart. So maybe it's like, this is what you've felt so far, but next summer it's all going to fall apart. If you were to try to kind of turn that visual into a sentence, maybe that's what they're trying to say.
Right. Yeah, this is what you remember, and this is what's coming. Yeah.
Right. And also,
Can you play that part? Can you play that part where Forky actually voices that line?
Yeah. Do you want me to turn the volume back on?
Yeah. Let's let
play
the listeners hear that.
I recall, I really don't know clouds.
I don't belong here!
So what Forky says there is he screams, "I don't belong here," and then later on, he also says, "I am not a toy."
Right.
Two things that I think are interesting about Forky here, as far as character design and what that means within the Toy Story universe, and also as far as what the lines he's saying are. One, so you mentioned earlier in Toy Story 1, we had Sid, who was taking toys apart and making weird mutant toys out of them.
Right.
That was an instance where somebody was making their own toys, but they were mishmashed mutants, weird science experiment combinations of toys that already existed. It seems, if I remember, I might be wrong here, and the listeners can throw in a comment or send us an email or chime in. I think Forky is the first toy we've seen in the Toy Story movies that is just straight up built from things, not necessarily combined other toys, but just combined parts and pieces, popsicle sticks, pipe cleaners, a spork,
right,
some googly eyes.
Yeah, he's a crafted plaything. Mm-hmm. That, like, if a child didn't have toys or was unfortunate to be in an environment where they grew up where they didn't have those things, to be able to make that item to play with and have as your figurine or your doll for playing,
which I would argue is a toy in that.
Yes, in the context of it,
and what it represents and the play value that it ends up, that could arguably be more of a toy than a plastic, store-bought thing that ends up being discarded or not touched very often.
Sure, and I think Right?
I gotta fix this problem with my monitors trying to turn off all the time.
Oh, yeah. Here, I'll shake my screen too, just so you don't feel left out.
Okay.
There we go. But yeah, I think that's might be part of what they're kind of getting at what you just said, and I totally lost what you just said. But
Well, also possibly this concept of a toy that really should be considered a toy, but thinks they're lesser. If you were to equate this to, or try to equate this to human, and
Right.
this could be a comment on human rights, and
right,
I don't know. It's a
Diversity.
concept that has been visited in the Toy Story universe before. This idea of whether or not you're a toy and whether or not you're more than a toy.
Yeah.
This is kind of going the other direction. Whether or not you think you're actually less than a toy.
right,
So
right.
super
it's
interesting concepts.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
We're both thinking really hard. We both got real quiet. But I think a good, probably, if I were to make a guess, a happy moral to this story that we're gonna get in this movie is probably Forky coming to terms with the fact that he's a toy, no matter where he came from or how he was built. If
Right.
the kid plays with him, he's a toy.
Yeah. I just remembered you have an affinity for googly eyes too.
I do. I love googly eyes. They're the best thing ever.
Yeah. And here's Forky with two different googly eyes. Would you ever do that? Would you ever use two different size googly eyes?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah?
So for two reasons, this is
And are they even called googly eyes? Is that the right term?
yeah, I call them googly eyes.
Googly eyes?
Googly eyes. Oh, Tim, the guy I work with, he said something the other day. He called them something different, and I was like, "That's not what they're called." I don't remember what he called them though. He didn't say googly eyes though. He said something totally different.
Huh. Okay. Anybody have any different names for the little funny eyes on Forky? Let us know for sure.
I also think Forky would be a really easy and fun prop replica to make. Kind of like when I made Plank a while ago.
Just don't use chewing gum. Just find some clay that kind of replicates.
That looks like it's clay.
I think it's clay and not chewing gum. Bless you.
Sorry.
Boy, this
I am so
episode's
sorry.
a little bit unique in its own way.
I apologize.
No, it's all right. It seems fitting for the film. We're just a little bit off.
So then, as everybody's falling apart, and Forky says, "I'm not a toy," and then
Oh.
Woody.
Were you going to mention now? What was the music that was behind that when everyone was tripping over each other and?
It was the same. It was the same song. The lyrics changed. No. The lyrics stopped, I believe. Let me double check that here.
And then just the instrumental rolls.
No clouds.
I don't belong here!
Yeah. So after the first, so there's the first verse. Yeah, the screenshot that I stopped on. There's the first verse that I read out loud, and then there's the chorus. And then after the end of the chorus, before the second verse starts, after she says, "I really don't know clouds at all," that's when the lyrics stop. The music continues to play, but it's just the characters falling apart to the music at that point. So there's
Okay.
nothing else really music wise. I mean, the importance of the song I feel is still there.
Right.
But there's no new things to report at that point. And that's about where we're at. I don't know how long we've been recording, but I don't really have anything else to say about this. Do you want to just roll into closing thoughts and do you have anything else?
Well, I think I like the point that you brought up, the hotel aesthetic or carnival aesthetic lighting that's brought into the Toy Story logo in other imagery, other trailers, and I think that's really
Right here.
yeah, the cover of that. Oh, and then you can see in the background a little bit of the Ferris wheel.
Right, and in the other trailer, I'll just pull it up here. I won't play the audio yet, but you can definitely see that imagery here. They're most certainly in that carnival or a carnival of some sort.
that Star Adventurer almost looks like a Pizza Planet knockoff.
And the spaceship in there almost looks like a knockoff of Buzz Lightyear's spaceship that his packaging was in the first movie.
Yeah. And that's the best thing, the Easter eggs that Pixar throws in. It's just going to be awesome to see some of those. Did you know in...
you can kind of see what I'm talking about here. I was trying to see if I could find some sort of meaning in some of this stuff, but it's all super generic. Yeah. I'm not seeing too much meaning here.
Did you know in Toy Story 1, the carpet in Sid's house upstairs outside his room was actually...
Sorry, I accidentally started playing the audio. What did you say?
So Toy Story 1, Sid's house, upstairs, there's a scene where Sid's sister kind of runs through the room or the hallway. Okay. Well, the carpet in the hallway is the same carpet that is in The Shining. The same carpet.
Oh, yeah. At the Overlook Hotel.
Yeah.
I remember that being an Easter egg that people were pointing out years ago. Yeah, that's a cool reference. I think that carpet is just an iconic carpet pattern.
Yeah.
And other filmmakers throw that in.
Huh? To kind of put The Shining and Sid together is...
Yeah. I think it's a kind of a subconscious... It's meant to make you feel uneasy if you're familiar with that movie, you know?
Yeah. No, I can't wait to see what they kind of toss in this one. It'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And the character animations, just because it's all updated technology and current. I mean, the characters, the way the toys look, everything looks super high quality. The animations look awesome.
Well, yeah, these two characters at the carnival, I just thought it was so well done.
Not just that, just the characters. Also, the characters we're familiar with, the characters we've seen before. They're looking pretty sweet, just because it's probably updated in modern animation technology versus the original movies.
Right. Without losing who they are as their characters. Sweet. All right.
But yeah, that's all I have. Same. I feel like I've already kind of given closing thoughts. Was there anything left for you, or?
No, I am just, hoping to heck that Forky finds his way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see there being possibly more than one Forky, like a couple other forks that are also made for
interesting
as toys.
Right. He finds his clan, if you will.
His clan.
His clan of forks. You know what though? That's the classic lunchroom spork though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Anyways, so that being said, I would like to open up the floor to our listeners and watchers. What do you all think? Do you think what we dug out of this trailer, we can expect kind of a dark theme to this movie, or do you think we're digging too deep into it? It's up to you. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Just open up the floor to you guys. Let us know what you think. Sorry, I just got totally brain sidetracked.
Oh, it happens. Yeah, I would love to know if anyone kind of has some of the similar kind of thoughts and feelings, or besides the toys, how is this connecting to the humans in the story of Toy Story? Kind of what's happening there behind the scenes.
And then that being said, where can people find you?
I am on the intranet, PeteBella.com, Instagram, Facebook. I am on Twitter, but I don't really tweet as much as I should.
Should?
I guess I should tweet more.
I have a website and my own personal Twitter pages as well. As always, I will post links to those in the description of this podcast. You can find the show at TWTE Podcast, both on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And you can do a search for the World Through Electrospecs on YouTube. I've recently got all the videos up.
Awesome.
And everything's back in working order on that new channel.
High five.
Oh, high five. Oop, how do we...
You got to remember this now.
Oh, I'm the wrong way. It's this way.
All right. Well
And then you can check us out on iTunes, subscribe on iTunes, leave us a rating on iTunes. We're also on the Google Play Store, Stitcher, and pretty much anywhere else you can get your podcasts. Feel free to please leave us a review. It definitely helps us out. Or leave comments on the YouTube video or the audio. You can leave comments on the main website too, but that's another thing. The main website, TWTEpodcast.com. Just head over there and you can find links to literally everything I just said, plus our previous episodes.
Definitely. And let us know if there's anything you want us to analyze and see if we can find some lost path down that trailer as well.
Right. Definitely let us know what trailers you're interested in having us cover in the future. So, I'd say that's pretty much the end of it. I will go ahead and roll the footage and audio for the the second teaser trailer, and then we'll call it a close.
Leaving you guys with this. This is epic. I love it. I love it.
It'd be nice if you'd be able to hear it, but the listeners can hear it.
Yeah.
Sorry, the audio doesn't pump through the chat.
We'll be all right.
All right, here we go. Thanks everybody for listening.
You said that? To your face? To my face. And then what happened? So I get real close, right? I'm like, I don't care which Cabbage Patch you're from, kid. Give me back my Viewmaster before I knock the dimples off your face. Oh! Okay. No, you didn't. You don't even care, man. Yeah. Hey, you are a I don't care bear. You know what I'm saying? Oh, man. Oh, Ducky. Yeah. You see the new movie trailer? For what? You ain't see it? See what? What is it, buddy? Ducky. What? They're making another Toy Story movie. No! I thought those movies were done, dog. They made 3 movies. They did make 3 movies. This is number 4. Oh, shoot! Come on! I love the Toy Story, dog. Toy Story is my jam. What about Buzz Lightyear's dog? I am Buzz Lightyear, Space Ranger. And then Woody's like, you are a toy! Oh, yeah, that's pretty good, Woody. Do the flying thing he does. Do it. Oh, do it. To infinity and your mom. Wait, what? Yeah. That's not right. You sure? No, that's not right. I'm pretty sure that's it. No, let me show you. To insanity and a blonde. What do you even That's how it goes. Saying? No, that's how it goes. To immunity and respond. To indecency and infrequently.
Hey, guys, you got it all wrong.
It's to infinity and beyond. That's the stupidest thing I've heard. You can't go to infinity, dummy. It's impossible. He up here talking about infinity. You don't go beyond infinity. You don't know nothing about science.